Now, another form of the nervous system reactions is called freeze. So we have fight, flight, freeze, submit, where we go into a collapse mode. And freeze is where we become immobilized. We actually become kind of like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to move from here. And it can feel paralyzing, actually. It's a very important aspect of the nervous system. And if we've learned to freeze as a way of staying safe, we want to be really respectful about that. And again, it can become preventative. So we aren't able to move forward. We keep succumbing to these freeze reactions where we are, it's kind of like feeling stunned, right? And sometimes what ends up happening is we are stressed in certain ways all throughout the day, or we find a very stressful peak experience. And then we know how to self-sedate. We know how to kind of self-freeze. And when I say preservative, you can actually think of it as when something gets preserved in ice, it becomes a fossil. We kind of become like fossilized versions of ourselves. We're not really there. There'd be an imprint in the ice if you saw it, but we are not in there. We are very deep inside, not having access to the neocortex, but being lost in a parasympathetic downregulation of the system, like a deregulating experience. So to help ourselves not get stuck there, I'm going to ask you to come onto your back, please, with your knees bent. And then let's bring the knees into the chest. You can hold behind each of the kneecaps. Feel free to clasp the hands if it makes it easier to hold. And then you can imagine that in the freeze state, we don't tend to be breathing very well. And so right now, all I'm going to ask you to do is relax your shoulders back and down towards the floor. Release the weight of your head. Begin to picture the back hemisphere of your body melting a little bit, releasing tension. You can imagine that like when there's a tiny pat of butter in a slightly warmed pan, that the butter begins to melt. And we're inviting unnecessary tension to melt away. A very common form of freeze in today's society is when people get stuck to the couch after scrolling. They become so downregulated or sedated. The levels of dopamine and serotonin have dropped, and the person is sort of frozen there, stuck, a little bit fossilized. So right now, imagine that you've come from something like that perhaps, and you're resting knees to chest. Allow the breath to return. As you begin inhaling, welcome the inhale to press against the knees. So the breath is going to expand against the back body, into the floor, the sides of the waist, and also into the knees and the thighs. Exhale completely. And inhale slowly. Without asking too much, too soon of yourself or your body, with respect for why freeze is a mechanism that we've chosen. Let's now roll the knees side to side. Think of it as a gesture of comfort and also rhythm. So whether you're rolling just the knees or you can roll the whole body side to side, do it as a comforting rhythm for yourself. I find that an attitude of tenderness and self-respect is far better than an attitude of like punishment or condemnation. Okay, the next time that you're taking both knees over to the right, go ahead and bring that into a little spine twist. Drop both knees down to the right, and then sweep your left arm up. And exhale, open to your left. Let's keep the knees together and stacked, and the knees can also stay somewhat close to the chest and the heart. As you go to open the left upper chest and shoulder, remind yourself that safety does matter to you and to all of your parts. And remind those parts that you have a wiser perspective on safety right now. And looking at the safety of really being connected to our indwelling self, inner resources, inner intelligence. With your next inhale, make a big circle with the left arm. Reach up past your ear. Bring it back over, and let's change to the other side. So raise the knees up. Roll down to your right. You can place your left hand on your right knee. Push the right arm past your right ear. Breathe in. And then exhale and roll the upper chest open. As you reach out to your right here, allow the breath to come down into the lower abdomen. To the parts of you that learned how to choose the freeze reflex, let them know that you are here, guiding the breath, guiding the practice, taking care of your body. And inhale, raise your right arm, reach past your right ear, bring it back over to the knees, and then rolling onto your back. Let's touch the knees down to the floor. Okay, press into the heels of both feet, press into your toes. As you inhale, lift your tailbone and consider raising your hips and your pelvis up any height that you're able to do. So here you're using large muscles of the legs, the glutes and the hamstrings, and you're using muscles that are powerfully used to engage strength. So kind of the opposite of that freeze. On the exhale, roll your hips down and let it roll down one vertebrae at a time. And inhale, roll up. Press down through your heels and toes. Lift your tailbone. Tone the back of the pelvis, the glutes and the hamstrings. And exhale, roll down, folding the floating ribs in and knit the abdomen in towards a sense of strength. Again, inhale to go up. And exhale to roll down. If you've been in a freeze state, it might feel like it takes a while for this to be comfortable. Let's do one more time. Inhale to go up, and this time see if you can stay up. You may even be able to add the shoulders. Tuck one shoulder under and then the other. Press your upper arms firmly down. Press down with your elbows and perhaps also with the palms of your hands. Allow yourself to breathe in. This is called bridge pose or Setu Bandhasana in Sanskrit. Breathe in one more time. And on the exhale, let the spine start rolling down one vertebrae at a time as you sweep the arms overhead on the floor. You can give a little tug to the arms so that you're really bringing the spine down, getting longer all through the torso. And then relax the effort of your arms and your legs. Breathe in and notice any greater access you now have to the abdominal breath, to having come back home, as it were. And once more, you can give yourself a little phrase, insert a little positive statement towards yourself. Something like, my life matters, or my participation matters to you, matters to others. Or perhaps just a gentle sense of like, it's okay to release the tension, or the tension isn't mine to carry. Sometimes you're carrying the tension of others from a long time back. Maybe a phrase like, I release the tension, letting it go back into the universe, which, by the way, it can be absorbed. You can send that tension into the element of air or fire or water, and nature will take care of that for you. Okay, and let's come to Shavasana for those of us who are in class this morning. Cover up where you like. Take a few minutes of resting in Shavasana. You just gave your nervous system a bath. This is a time to receive the medicine of that. Yourself to be breathed by the body and the breath without getting in the way. Deeply relax. You can imagine that even long-held patterns are evaporating right now. The parts of you that learned to create safety can see that you have a new access to a deeper safety. That safety of being connected to yourself, to the earth, to a healthy community. to side. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Bend your knees. Please roll to your side. Return to sitting. And you come up to take a seat. I'm going to ask you to make a respectful gesture for yourself. And also to acknowledge, so you may choose this gesture, respecting on the hand on the heart, like your highest intention, your deepest desire, your longing for healing and wholeness for yourself and also for others. It's not just a solo journey. And then also acknowledge parts of you that learned to create patterns of safety, whether that was through fight, flight, freeze, submit, please and appease, acquiesce and regress, self-abandonment, all those things. To acknowledge the parts of you that needed to create that safety. They were carrying some vulnerability for a long time. And let those parts know that you have a more loving and more wise offer for them based on present day resources, present moment capacities, wisdom teachings, spiritual path and practice, attuned companions on the path, and your own inner loving witness available to these parts of you. Join both hands to the heart. And thank you so much for sharing your practice this morning. Namaste. Let's give appreciation to the parts of us that were willing to be here for this practice just now. And may you find a new neurological pathway in which you can walk today. May you come to this day with courage, with a commitment to yourself. Not for the protective mechanisms that became preservative, that became preventative, but can you come now with some proactive mechanisms where you can have a sense of your purpose, moving in a direction of your healing and wholeness. Thank you for being here. Namaste. As always, if practices are helpful for you, please don't forget to leave questions and comments down below the video. Click the like button and subscribe to the channel. I hope to see you next time.